me in the eye when I say this. Do not pay over MSRP for action figures. Do not give your money to resellers. Tell me something, would you pay $60 for this action figure? This is the next level Jada Toy Phelan from their Street Fighter 2 New Challengers line. Would you pay above MSRP for this? I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. And I found this at an EB Games for $29.99 Canadian. Okay, so ridiculousness aside, like I want to show you guys a few ways that you can prevent yourself from overpaying for action figures if you're a collector like me, whether you like Marvel Legends, Jada Toys, Storm Arena, all of these kinds of figures, right? Even if you like other types of imports, which these ones tend to be very, very expensive on the aftermarket because they are imports, right? And there's less availability for them in North America. Now, if you're someone like me and you live in Canada, sometimes it's pretty hard to get deals, you know? You rely on the stores you have locally, Walmart, which is really balls these days. There is nothing in the toy aisle, but you're not gonna find anything. No Marvel Legends. There's always always one Black Series Star Wars figure there at all times. No one wants it. You rely on these stores, the Targets, the EB Games, the GameStops, if you have them. So the first step, of course, would be to check your local stores if they have anything in stock, because most of the time it'll be MSRP. Now, I'm not sure about mom and pop stores. You know, sometimes retro game stores will hold these type of figures, but sometimes they're marked up. Now what I like to do is check Amazon, because a lot of actual listings from Hasbro, from Jada Toys are on Amazon. However, the second the price is above MSRP, it means that it's a reseller. So do not buy from resellers. Just look at recently, you know, I wanted to get Jada Toy Cammy, the player 1 version, not the player 2 version, and I couldn't find her in stock anywhere. So I go on Amazon. She's 68 Canadian dollars. And that's not including the shipping, and that's not including the taxes. And in Quebec, we have like the highest tax ever, so things get freaking expensive. But luckily for Canadians now, the Big Bad Toy Store, which probably everyone knows who's a collector, right? This store now has $8 Canadian shipping, and you pay any duty fees up front right on the figure, right? Which is freaking awesome, because usually ordering from Big Bad Toy Store would cost anywhere from $20 to $50 Canadian of extra shipping on top of the figure, on top of the taxes, which is freaking insane. You're paying like $200 for a $30 figure, like, no thank you. So now that Big Bad Toy Store is readily available to everyone in North America, I would say check there first, because they have a lot of inventory, and I recently, a few days ago, just got Cammy from them. And it cost me at least $20 less than buying it from Amazon, from a Canadian seller, right? Now, other places you could check, of course, would be something like an eBay. However, you know, you're gonna pay duty fees on eBay if the seller is American. You won't pay any if they're in Japan or China though, so it's a good thing about being in Canada. However, a lot of the stuff on there is marked up to all hell. Now, you can find deals on eBay, but you practically have to have it open all the time and just hunt for deals. I find that it's really hard to find deals for figures rather than something like video games, you know, like retro video games and stuff like that. It's really, really hard to find a good deal on the figure. It doesn't mean that it's impossible. It just means that it's very improbable that you'll find a good deal on there. You know, a lot of these people, they rely on toy companies like Storm Arena and Jada Toys to not do a lot of reissues, so that when things go out of stock, the prices shoot up and they, you know, make money if they paid MSRP on that item. Which is really annoying. You know, this type of stuff has infiltrated every freaking hobby known to man. Everything is being upcharged out the wazoo. Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh, One Piece, figures, anything, dude. Anything that is slightly collectible, you're gonna be paying out the wazoo if you can't get a pre-order at MSRP. Now, my other saving grace for action figure collecting has been stores that are not local to like my town specifically, but to Canada as a whole, or maybe my province or a province over. So what I often do is I go on Google and I like type action figure store in Canada, and then they pop up with a ton of choices. So I look at them, I look at the reviews, and I see which store has the most stock. Now, sometimes these stores, again, they will have marked up prices. They will not have everything at MSRP, which is very unfortunate. If you're in Canada, I will put these in the description, the links to the stores that I found that are really good, that I ordered from, that have good prices, and that the shipping is not insane. However, you know, the shipping is about 12 to 15 Canadian dollars. It's sort of comparable to Big Bad Toy Store, you know, because that is what you're going to pay for combined with their $8 shipping and the duty fees, right? And to show you the proof, because the proof is in the pudding, here is candy on Amazon, 68, I can see that, 68 and 12 cents Canadian. If I wanted quick shipping, that would be, hold on, that would be a total of $50, guys. Oh yeah, that's a deal. Freaking hell. So, that sucks. Say I go for the free shipping, that's 71 and 65 cents. Seriously? For a $30 figure? Come on. Now I'll show you what I paid on Big Bad Toy Store with the duty fees and everything included. I don't know if you can see that, hold on. That's $43. So yeah, I saved a little bit of money. And the beauty of Big Bad Toy Store is that they do not use freaking Canada Post because they're so annoying. If you're not there, they leave a note and then you have to go the day after. And even if you're there, they will not knock because I guess they're antisocial like me or whatever. They will just be like, oh, they weren't there, and then they leave. So that's really annoying. Now there is another option. A lot of people on Reddit actually sell their action figures. People on Facebook groups, right? Which is always a little dubious. I did that with comic books for a while. And it's fun if you get like really good sellers, you know, they're really good people, they know you, you often buy from them. However, I got scammed a few times on Facebook because of that, so I stopped doing that altogether. But then, you know, there is reviews on Facebook now, but back then they weren't really any, you know, it was a long time ago. So any social media platform, people are going to be selling figures, people that you don't know, especially Instagram. So I saw a post today and I was like, oh my gosh, dude, these people were selling Jada Toy figures for 90 Canadian dollars, plus you have to pay the shipping, of course. So I want to show you guys this because I wasn't kidding, obviously. Look at this. $90 for a Vega, Cammy, Emma Bison, Akuma. Akuma is still on pre-order at Big Bad Toy Store for $29.99. Go get him. And you got the Blanca at $90. And of course, the Sagat at $70. Why? Because he's missing a stand. That is a great deal, guys. All of these figures you can find on Big Bad Toy Store and probably some local stores in your area, in your country. So please check your local stores, check your EB Games, your GameStops. They have a lot of the next level Jada Toys figures for a fraction of the price, right? Like I said, my Fei Long was $29.99. That is freaking insane. And a lot of the other ones I saw, they had the Dalsim Player 2. They had the green M Bison, which is freaking ugly, but they were $44 Canadian, these ones. So it's still a great freaking deal. I could not find an evil Ryu, which sucks because he's so freaking cool, right? Now, before we end this video, I want to talk about the elephant in the room, which is AliExpress and Temu, right? Are those reliable? Well, I have bought a few action figures from this place. Most of them were bootlegs, though. I have bought one legit one, which was my Superman. It's from Fonjoy, which is a Chinese company. And so, you know, it comes from there exactly, you know, this one. So it's really freaking cool. So yeah, you can get actual sellers of stuff, you know, always look at reviews on those sites. However, these prices will still be marked up. So recently I want the Storm Arena Ken, but the blue version, because the blue version is the Ken that I, you know, always would select when I played Street Fighter, you know, back on the Sega Genesis and then the PlayStation 1 and Alpha 3, right? But that thing not only was an exclusive to Storm Arena, they don't do reissues, so now people are upcharging out the wazoo for him. So like, I'm still trying to find a deal, of course, but sometimes if you really want something and you save up for it and you can afford it, all right, never put yourself in debt for collectibles and toys that you want, because eventually you'll end up regretting it. You'll end up selling everything at a loss and you're going to hate yourself. So like, do it smart, do it slow, be patient, look for deals in all the places that I just said, right? Local stores, EB Games, GameStops, online stores in your country, Big Bad Toy Store, and forget about everything else. Sometimes you'll find deal on AliExpress because of coupons and all the deals they always have, so look out for that, but make sure to look at the reviews. But just be patient, collect slowly. You'll really actually enjoy the figures more. You know, when I get a figure, I like posing it, I like taking a lot of pictures with it. You know, it's really fun. That's the fun part of the hobby, right? So if you're just buying to accumulate things, then you're just robbing yourself of that enjoyment, which is really unfortunate, and that's what a lot of people do, and that's why there's a lot of burnout in this community specifically. So I really hope that these tips helped you guys to find deals on figures to stop overpaying to stop paying freaking resellers, you know, try to find MSRP deals. And please let me know if you've found a good MSRP deal recently from a figure that's maybe out of stock or maybe being upcharged at the wazoo online. I'd really like to know what you guys found in your local stores or in your area. Please let me know. Other than that, guys, have an awesome day.